Alright, who's ready for some bullshit fake news? I watched about 30 seconds of this. Fuck this story. This shit is fake. This is what they're using your pandemic for? You people really think this is real? Wait till you see that. This is how they're using your pandemic. Wake the fuck up.
Tonight, shame on you. That is the message. It's a quote from the family of Texas resident David Nagy. He died from coronavirus. In his obituary, which immediately garnered thousands of
He died 10 years ago, you fucking liar.
likes and shares on social media, Nagy's family blames President Trump and the Texas governor for his death.
Right.
And they write in part in his obituary, and I quote, "Family members believe David's death was needless. They blame his death and the deaths of all other innocent people on Trump, Abbott, and all of the other politicians who did not take this pandemic seriously and were more concerned with their..."
How pathetic is that? And then you're gonna, right after your husband dies, you're gonna go on television and talk about it. I'm sure.
Popularity and
A great way to mourn.
votes than lives. Out front now is Stacey Nagy. She is David Nagy's wife, his widow, who wrote this obituary. And Stacey...
Obituary, that's exactly. This is a bitch. She said it right there.
Out front now is Stacey Nagy. She is David Nagy's wife, his widow, who wrote this obituary. And
obituary. What are you saying?
Stacey, look, I'm so sorry.
One more time, my bad.
She is David Nagy's wife, his widow, who wrote this obituary. And Stacey, look, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss a few months ago, a loss that you would never have thought would have touched you. And I am truly, truly sorry for that.
So it's been a few months. That's better than a few days when they're usually on here.
So tell me about this. Why you felt the need to write this?
Well, I was very distraught, and I was very angry.
That your husband died, right?
Having seen how people were reacting to this pandemic.
Oh no, you're distraught? You're distraught from the way that other people that you don't know are acting? You're not distraught from your own husband dying? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Or not reacting to the pandemic.
Right. Get your script right.
How people were reacting to this pandemic or not reacting to the pandemic.
Then watch her like shake her head.
Reacting to this pandemic or not reacting to the pandemic. Listening to things that Trump and the other politicians were saying, not setting examples by wearing masks and so forth. And I felt that had things been handled properly from the very beginning,
this is like your bitch teacher yelling at you for not doing what you were told.
We would not be where we are now. And had the public been listening to the medical professionals and done what...
Look at how much she cares.
And had the public been listening to the medical professionals and done what they should have done, we would not be where we are now. So consequently, thousands of people have died.
Just look at that ugly face when she says that.
Not be where we are now. So consequently, thousands of people have died. Now, I'm heartbroken over this, of course. His family, his kids.
You're heartbroken over thousands of people you don't know dying? What about your own husband that died a couple months ago that you're not even talking about and you just have forgotten all about?
Are heartbroken over it. But in addition to us, I think about all the other families, all the other people that lost husbands and wives and mothers. And
why are you caring about strangers when you have your own problems right now during a pandemic? Why would you care about anyone else but your own family when you've lost your husband?
Fathers and children, you know, they're going through the same thing.
No, you care about politics more, really?
And it's frustrating when you know that somebody's died that didn't need to die, or at least they didn't need to die in the way they did and the time that they did.
Right.
So I was, after this whole thing happened, I was so angry, and I just had this need to.
So just hold on.
I was.
That's what she looks like there, married to him, and you see what she looks like now. So what did he look like when he died? Because this isn't adding up to me.
Was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I was so angry, and I just had this need to. So I
That picture's old. He looks old there. He looks older than her. She looks really old now. That picture could be 20 years old, so I don't know.
to express myself
His mustache is a little gray in that pic.
and to put blame where blame
Previous one, not this one.
belongs. So I wrote my little obituary and I posted it in my little town's little newspaper. And
And then CNN contacted me because I was ripping on Trump. And they were like, hey, you want to come on TV and rip on Trump? Yeah, absolutely.
hope that a few of the residents would read it and start wearing masks.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that it would have, turned out the way it did. I had no idea that it was passed around and people had been reading it and so forth.
Well, you ripped on Trump. You bashed what 90% of the population does every day.
You do have a message in it about masks specifically. And I know you just mentioned it, but you wrote also to blame are the many ignorant, self-centered, and selfish people who refuse to follow the advice of the medical professionals, believing their right not to wear a mask was more important than killing innocent people.
Yes. What about, did you ever think about, we don't want you to live here anymore? Like, we're tired of you sheep, so we don't believe in the virus, but let's say it is real. We kind of hope that, like, not wearing a mask actually helps provide to some of your deaths. We don't want you here. We want you to take the vaccine and get eliminated, so there's less of you. So you wanting us to wear a mask, we don't really give a shit, one way or another. Whether the virus is real or whether it's fake, we're not going to wear a mask, and we hope it contributes to your death as well.
I think that, from, the responses that you've gotten, has this changed how some people are behaving?
Yesterday,
Yeah, look at you. Look at how you're behaving. Look at your face.
well,
Yeah, look at you.
Changed how some people are behaving?
Yeah, how are you behaving?
yesterday, well,
The Undertaker's here.
yesterday evening, I went on to Facebook and started reading a lot of messages. And
Oh, yeah, because you really care about your husband's death. You're more worried about the trolls on your video on Facebook and what they're saying about your ugly ass. Yeah, you're not worried about your husband who died. You're not mourning that. Nope, you're on CNN. Nope, checking my messages. Nope, going after the trolls. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know anyone that died from coronavirus, you lying
and the
piece of
majority
shit.
of comments were in my favor. The majority of comments.
Yeah, because the video is on your own page, you idiot. If I post your video on my page, the comments aren't going to be for you.
The people believe the same way I believe.
No, people, the 1,200 people that follow you, maybe half of them believe the way that you do. That's not that's not the overall portion of the entire world that we're going to take.
They gave me an Attagirl for doing it. They said, "Good for you, coming
Well, now you're not getting an Attagirl. Now you're getting your ugly ass ripped apart.
out and saying it." But
Yeah, look at her get into her ego. That a girl. Okay, she's just going off the rails talking about herself too much.
girl for doing it. They said, "Good for you, coming out and saying it." But there were some people that gave negative comments.
Before CNN, while working at CNN, after working at CNN. Before picture, this is you now, sweetheart, and this is going to be you in the future. Keep working there, letting them drain the life out of you, because this is you, and look into a mirror, and this is you in the future.
They said such things like, "Oh, her husband didn't really die. This is all just made up." And this is just made up to make Trump look bad because we're getting close to an
No, it has nothing to do with Trump, but it is made up. Look at the reaction.
They said such things like, "Oh, her husband didn't really die. This is all just made up, and this is just made up to make Trump look bad because we're getting close to an election and stuff like that," which is
Well, look what you guys are doing. Like, that kind of makes some sense. You've spent 10 minutes on here bashing Trump when your husband's dead. You aren't really talking about him. You're not really mourning his life or whatever.
Isn't the case.
Wow. So, we just showed some pictures of your husband,
Right, let's get back to your husband, even though we just spent all this time bashing
the
Trump.
grandchild, and of course with you.
Yeah, that's
You know,
it.
he-
That's
he
his,
was-
grandchild.
Yeah, a couple weeks
Yeah, let's show the same 2 pictures we've already shown.
ago he was alive, and a couple of
It doesn't even look real.
months ago you would have thought you had a lot of time left, many years. Tell
Not really.
me about him.
Oh, Dave was a character. He was really, really a character. He was a
Does she look sad? I know it's been 2 months, but still, I don't know. If I lost someone, I wouldn't be on TV
fun-loving
smiling.
person, and he loved his family dearly. He loved all his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. He loved me. He loved his dog dearly.
And he loved Joe Biden.
He loved to tease people.
He loved to hate on Trump.
When we would go places, he would like to kid around with the waitresses or the store clerks, things like that. He was
Things like sexual harassment.
he was a wonderful person. I could be in the kitchen washing dishes at the sink, and he'd come up and start kissing the back of my neck, giving me chills in the back of my neck. He was the love of my life, and I loved him. He was a part of me, and I feel lost without him.
You don't look lost without him. You look fine. You've been fine on here. Now you're acting like you're lost.
Well, I am really sorry.
You haven't cried once.
I am so sorry for your loss, and I thank you for sharing a little bit of his life with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, look how happy she is that her husband's dead. Look at what loss looks like. I lost my husband. Before adrenochrome, without adrenochrome, with adrenochrome, without.
Stacey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for watching. Anderson starts now.
Boo.